Hi everyone, this is Miss Elefante again, and welcome to Science Simply Explained by Ivy Elefante. For this video, I am going to show you how to use Excel to create a graph from your data table. Specifically, I'll give an example for the kinetic energy lab from Edgenuity. But before we proceed, I just want to tell you that this is a new channel, and although we already have more subscribers in the other channel, but I wanted to separate the lessons. So please do subscribe to this channel so I can support you better. So here, of course, we need to open an Excel document. It's empty as of now. And for the kinetic energy lab, this is the question that we're going to answer. How do mass and speed affect kinetic energy? So you notice that there are three variables involved here. So we have mass, we have speed, and these two variables will affect kinetic energy. But how? So here it says, if the mass of an object increases, the kinetic energy will also increase because they're directly related. Or you can also say, if the speed of an object increases, then the kinetic energy will also increase because of direct proportionality. So it is important that we know what is our independent and dependent variable. In that way, we know which axis to put them. So for the first part, between mass and kinetic energy, our independent variable is mass because it is something that we change. Our dependent variable is kinetic energy because it is the one that is affected or the one that responds to the change. Part 2, between speed and kinetic energy, same as mass, speed is our independent variable because we change the speed. So therefore, our dependent variable is kinetic energy. One important thing that I want you to remember to really just easily know which one goes where is dry mix. So for dry, this means D is your dependent, R is responding, Y, that means your y-axis. And then for mix, M means manipulated, I is independent, X obviously would be your x-axis. So say we have this graph. For graph A, this is the relationship between mass and the change in mass and then the kinetic energy. As you can see here, we have changed the mass, which is increasing from 0.125, it increases to 0.5, and the velocity or the speed is constant, so we don't change it. And our kinetic energy, we solved kinetic energy using the equation KE, or kinetic energy is equal to 1/2 mass times velocity squared. So using the equation, we come up with these answers. Now we are going to plot it using Excel. So what you're going to do is you put your X here, your X variable, and your Y variable. This is in between mass and kinetic energy. We have mass is our independent, so I can put here mass, which is our X variable, and then our Y variable is kinetic energy, so that is our Y. Speed and kinetic energy, so our speed here is our independent variable, so mix, mix, X is an independent variable, so we're going to have here our speed, which is our x-axis, and then our kinetic energy, energy y-axis. Okay, and then let's just get all the information from here. So table 1 is the increase in mass. So the first mass is 0.125, and then we have 0.250, and then 0.375, and 0.0500. And then our kinetic energy is just basically 1, 2, we have 3, and 4. 2, 4, no, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, you might have different data, but this is just an example, okay? So and then our calculated energy was, kinetic energy was 0.5, and then I don't want to use the estimate. I'm going to use this number, but again, we might have the same, different answers. This is just an example. Okay, so 4.5. So you're gonna highlight that and then change the decimal place. So just 2 decimal places. And all right, now we are ready to do our graph. So what we do here is we're just gonna highlight this, okay, and then insert. And I would recommend you get this one, or you click this one, recommended graph, so that you will have the right graph to use. Since this is a relationship between the change in mass and kinetic energy, it is better to use a line graph. We can have individual graphs for mass and speed. So choose that one and then click. So this is for the first table. And then you're just going to click add. So make sure you have your axis, you have your X and Y axis, and then your title, because we're going to put title later as our label, and then the chart title as well. And then data labels, you can choose that one too. That means data label is this 1, 2, 3, 4, or you can actually just omit that one. That's fine. Okay, and then you're going to want to change your title. That would be mass versus kinetic energy. Okay, and then this one is your x-axis, and we know that our x-axis was our mass, dry mix. Independent variable is the mass, and then here you can put kinetic energy. And then you can also change the color of this if you want. So you can have this different layout like this if you want to do that. And you really have a lot of options here. You can also change the color if you like. So say I want to choose that, and then I want this graph, for example. And then all you're going to do is you have a lot of options here as well if you want to be like to add aesthetic to your graph, but this one will do. And then what you're going to do is right click, copy, and then go back to your Word document, and then at the bottom you're just going to delete that and then put here your graph. So that you can adjust your graph, what you will do is just highlight that and right click, and then wrap text. You can have behind text so that you will be able to move your graph. Okay, and then just enter for your next graph. Before you do that, I want you to have like an explanation. According to the graph above, it shows that as the mass is increased, you can say is increased, the kinetic energy of the object also increased. You can say therefore mass and kinetic energy are directly proportional. So you should have like an explanation of your graph. And then you're gonna want to do another graph for speed and kinetic energy. Same way, you're going to highlight that, insert. And again, the reason why we're using line graph, because it is talking about relationships of 2 variables. So you can do that. So access title, and then you're gonna want to write here speed versus kinetic energy. Or you can also say the effect of changing the speed to the kinetic energy. So you can also do that. And then here you're gonna want to write, so what is our x-axis? So that would be speed. As you can see here, if you increase the speed from 2 to 6, the kinetic energy of the object also increase. So there's a direct relationship between the two. And then you want to go back to your Word document and then paste. So here, if you don't do wrap text, you can't really move the graph. So you can just do right click, wrap text behind text, and there you can move your graph. And of course, just adjust this going down, and then create an explanation again. Since they do have the same explanation, I'm just going to copy that, and I'm just going to change this to speed instead. So speed is increased, the kinetic energy also increased. And yes, that is how you create a graph based on your data. All right, that's it. So I hope this video has been helpful. Like I said, if it has been helpful, please give this a thumbs up and subscribe to this channel so I can support you better. Thank you so much, and you have a great day. God bless you all. Bye-bye.